day, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, or is it nighttime where you are? Wherever that is, whatever time it is, I'm Abs of October Red and we are back. This is just a quick news and reviews. Just I guess a kind of a summary of a little bit what's been going on in boxing. And I want to hear your opinions on a couple of things. One of the things is obviously Usyk, we discussed that. He's vacated the belts, hasn't he? Not retired, but vacated the belts. It takes the pressure off him. You know, he's in discussions for potentially one more fight. Depending on how he gets on with that, we'll see if he sails off into the sunset. Before he fought Rico, it was supposed to be 3 fights. Then he fights Rico, he vacates the belts, and now it's potentially 1 fight. As you know, boxing is interchangeable. It is one of them. I've seen a couple of guys put out there saying you can't really put Usyk with all-time greats because of who he's boxed and what he's, how he's defended his belts and who he's fought, etc. I'm going to stay out of that one, and I'll leave the pugilists and the purists and the historians their opinion on that, because me, as you know, I'm a late starter. I never really studied the sport as a purist or a pugilist. I picked it up late. I am a casual, and I'm learning the sport as I go along. Who else could Usyk have fought? What type of talent have we got in this era of boxing? So I'm going to leave that one out there. By all means, you guys can discuss that in the comments, but I'm going to stay out of that one. Fair play to Usyk. He's done some great things. He's become undisputed at 2 weight classes. Fantastic. So whatever. Would we have given more fighters stick? Say, for example, if the shoes were on the feet of Anthony Joshua? Yes. There's a couple of reasons for that. One, I'll leave it to your imagination. And the second one is British are extremely harsh, as you know, on certain fighters. We don't just see it in boxing. We see it in football. We see it in tennis. We see it in quite a lot of sports that we tend to have a more harsher or a more critical view on certain sports people rather than others. And I'm saying that from somebody that sits down and watches the sport and sees the type of comments and the different sorts of headlines should one person do something compared to another. Listen, you've all got common sense, so I'll leave that there with you. I'm one of these that tries to be less critical of fighters because I haven't done what they've done, and I know what they do is dangerous. I've watched enough matches live to understand how brave they are to get in the ring in the first place. But that doesn't say you can't have an opinion, because like all of us, I pay for the subscriptions, so I'm also a paying customer. So Usyk's given away his belts, vacated them. I think the only one that was crying was Maurizio Sulaiman, and I think in the same sentence he created another belt for some other reason. And guys, you can shoot me in the comments. You know what I'm like. I don't mind. I can take that criticism. I understand the argument with Zuffa Boxing about the belts, because it just gets to the point that there's just too many. So when it comes to the belts, I understand it. I understand when you make something so common and so accessible, or you flood the market with it, it loses its value. What creates value to me is exclusivity. I'm kind of like under the impression if everyone can have it, I don't want it. And I think the belts are losing their exclusivity because there are so many. There's silver, there's interim, there's a belt because it rained on a Monday, and it loses that exclusivity, and that is my argument. So like I said, Maurizio was a bit miffed that Usyk has vacated. I don't know if he didn't receive a formal letter, as he said he found out on social media, but it is what it is. Then we have the argument, and I get this as well, as somebody that likes to commit myself to things, likes to work hard to things. I've openly said I've let myself go. My weight is really all over the place, not happy with it, and I'm not going to cheat. And if you want to cheat, and if you want to take injections, and you want to do liposuction, and you want to do all of that, then that's absolutely fine. That's up to you. But I don't do that. I don't like to cheat. I like to work hard and feel happy within myself that I've achieved the results on my own. If there's medical reasons why you can't and you're doing it that way, listen, go for it. But otherwise, if you're able-bodied, you're able to do it. I don't want things like given to me to make it easier and more convenient. I'd rather graft and get it. So I understand the argument where people are elevated to the status of world championship. Me personally, I think all of those should be fighting. The number ones and the number twos should be fighting each other to fight out for the belts. I'm not a fan of elevations because you've been handed something that you haven't earned, that the previous champion had earned to get those positions. Now, if I was in that position, if I was the fighter, would I turn my nose up and say, oh no, let me fight for it? Maybe. But maybe not. Maybe I think I'd waited around this long. I've had some grueling fights, working my way up the rankings. Yeah, I'll take the belt and then someone can challenge me for it. I've earned that number one spot. There's that argument. But I don't know. I'm someone that just would rather see the fights for the vacant between the number ones and number twos, however they want to do it, and then fight out for the belts and then get the belts that way. But it is what it is. It's not the first time we've seen elevated champions championed by paper, and I don't think it will change, but I understand why there's a bit of a debate around it, one for a better word. Right, so now we've seen, I think Turki Alalshikh is in the UK, I believe. I don't know if he's actually in the UK. I'm just looking at headlines, and where I tend to get my headlines from is Everything Boxing, which is run solely by Darshan Desai. I've read his stuff. That's where I get a lot of my news stuff from. I've met him a couple of times, and he's in charge of his own page. He writes his own stuff. He's independent, as it were. I believe he may have done, don't quote me on this, he may have done a piece for Yahoo before, so he's journalistic, or his writing has got him into positions, but I see him as an independent, and he does really well at it. So I've gone to his page just to find out. I'm trying to get there now, so excuse me while I scroll, because he regularly posts. So I think here, Sky Sports Boxing, right, Sky Sports Boxing have posted something with His Excellency. Apologies because I haven't watched it yet, so I'm going to listen to that live review. I've only seen like the headlines that have come from it, so let me get some volume up on this and play this for you to have a listen to.
The time zone, and this is for you. We have also Joshua and Tyson Fury this year.
Yes.
We don't choose the place until now. I tell you from the beginning, it's depend about if England give us all what we need. We want the fights here in England, but we want the time zone and the time zone of all the world, especially in America also. If they allowed us to have Wembley late in the night, we want to do it in England. Okay, now it is about the time and the viewership.
Correct.
Yes, and the subscribe. We will talk with the mayors and Prince Abdullah.
I'm sure our friends in the UK will try to help.
Yeah, try to help, and maybe the taxi of London will push. And this is for you.
So basically, Turki Alalshikh, obviously, we've had all that debate. I've done videos about it myself. Who's the promoter? Who's the name that's going to go on it? And like I said, I had a little bit of a snotty WhatsApp message at 20 to 2 in the morning saying, well, why are you addressing Turkey on Twitter? We all know who's promoting this. It's just that the venue hasn't been decided. My tweet was nothing to do with the venue. It was about who's promoting it, because at that point you had the promoters bickering, and when the promoters start bickering, that ruins the fight, and that can potentially stop the fight happening. So that was what my thing was. Can you let us know who's promoting it so this bickering can stop, so we can get on with making the fight? That is my argument. So obviously there's been an echo chamber all around social media. Everyone's put their 50 pence worth, you know, including myself. And it looks like Turki Alalshikh has said, you know, we want it to be in the UK. We're trying to get it into the UK, but we're going to cater towards the American audience. That's what I got from that. You heard his speech there. So that would mean potentially opening up a football ground, a stadium that traditionally closes, I think it's before midnight, don't quote me on it. So you're looking at opening a football stadium after hours to put on a British fight between two Brits for the American audience. I don't know how I feel about that, really. But I need to understand the American eyes on this. I need to understand the American point of view. Are the American fans that invested in it? Or will, just because it's on a suitable time for them, they'll just watch it anyway because it's there? Or would most of them, or some of them, you know, what is the demographic? What is the market research that has pointed Turkey to say, you know what, let's have it, you know, late at night, early hours of the morning, to potentially, you know, he said he wants it to cater for all around the world, but it seems to be driven towards, you know, American times. And you and I know, you and I both know that I'm not one of these that likes to set up late in the morning, never mind actually being at the stadium at 3 o'clock in the morning. So it's interesting, but I want to know what you think. I want to know what the Brits think. Are you like me? It should be, yes, it should be in the UK. Yes, it should be at British times. It's a British fight. We're the ones that's always wanted it, etc. Or our cousins over the pond in the US, in Canada, in Mexico, Brazil, etc. What do you think? What do you want? Does it matter to you to watch it live? Are you prepared to get up the next morning? Are you DAZN subscribers? I'd love to know all of that. Because I don't know. I want to know what you think on it. I'd rather they just keep it simple, keep it at the UK time. But I would say that I'm in the UK, I'm British, so I'm going to have a bias towards that. And I don't want to be biased. I want to see, okay, is it fair to put it on at that time of the morning? Unfair to the Brits, but if there's a bigger American audience, is that going to drive up pay-per-views? We're thinking about, it's not, well, what am I talking about? It's not pay-per-view, is it? Because it's going to be on Netflix, and Netflix isn't pay-per-view, and Netflix has got loads of subscribers anyway, so that takes that out of the equation. Maybe if it was on DAZN, I could potentially think that, okay, yeah, maybe, you know, DAZN subscriptions, pay-per-view, etc. But it's not. It's Netflix, isn't it? And most people are, well, I've been subscribed to Netflix for forever and a day. I don't know. Are they going to do one-offs for people that aren't subscribed? Who knows? But I'm interested to know what you guys think about that. Interesting. Very interesting. So Everything Boxing goes on to say Alalshikh wants Fury Joshua in the UK. We have also, and this is a quote from Turkey, we have also Joshua and Fury this year. We don't choose the place until now. It depends if England gives us what we need. We want the fight here in England, but we want for the time zone to be all over the world, which is kind of like what he says. I want to know what you think of that. I want to know what the benefits are for that. Listen, Netflix, those guys, they might know something about the figures that we don't. Is Joshua Fury Joshua, however which way around it is it such a massive draw in the US? And if so, why not just put it in the US then? You know, but there's going to be British fans that are going to say, no, I want to see it in the UK. I'm prepared to, you know, get to the stadium at midnight and watch the undercard till 6 in the morning. You know, there's going to be people that do that, but then there isn't. You know, the majority of the eyes, is that going to be through the TV screens or in the stadium? I'd say it's through the TV screens. So if that's the case, why not just put the fight in America then? Yeah, it's a tricky one. Please, by all means, you guys can explain the maths in the comments, as you do. I appreciate that all the time. And like I said, sometimes if I may be leaning towards a bias, you can balance me out and say, but no, listen to this is our version. And I'm really interested to hear from the people in the States, because you guys are going to benefit from this, because it's looking to be aimed at you and not at the British public, which, like I said, I feel conflicted about, I feel biased about, but he's gonna do what he's gonna do. But having it in the UK and playing it at American time, it's like, I don't know. But let me see what else is on the internet. This was just going to be a quick one for us. I think I'm going to take a risk and do the watch along for the Joshua Prenga. So that's over in Riyadh. So we're going to do a watch along for that. Probably not for the whole card, because I cannot trust my internet connection. It's even dropping out, like when I'm watching DAZN on the app. Netflix is perfect, but DAZN always drops out with the internet signal. Netflix doesn't, my other channels don't, but for some reason when DAZN's on, or I'm trying to live stream, whatever it is, those connections drop. So I'm going to do the watch along for that. So I'll put up the posters, notifications, etc., and we will get that sorted. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys again and having a proper like live chat with you anyway. Obviously there's all the rumours as well about the heavyweights. Thankfully we've still got Moses Atama versus Filip Hrgović, because people are trying to put somebody else's name in there to try and, like, you know, get rid of Hrgović, put him in there, and then he's for a world title. No, just leave it as it is. I'm glad that's happening. There was rumours about Joe Joyce potentially fighting Gassiev this weekend, which I thought Joe Joyce had probably going to sailed off into the sunset. Some people thought that was a good fight. I don't think it's a good fight for Joe Joyce at all. I think it's Peter Kadiru is fighting him, the German fella. So I think that's the fight that's going ahead now, in replacement of Tony Yoka that's done his back in. But we'll see what happens with him. Very, very staggered career. Don't know what's happening there. And the heavyweight division is wide open, and we like that. We like the fact that the belts are there, that, you know, everyone can get involved. Some of those guys can really start pushing themselves through the rankings to get their, you know, shot at the title, or, you know, get high up into the rankings. And that is what I'm hoping to see happen over the next, obviously, couple of years. Let me see what else is there. Just obviously some replays of Moses. I'm not going to speak on the Benavidez thing, because that is private. Relationships shouldn't filter out onto the internet. It just makes it really, really messy. So I'll just leave that there. It's not boxing, so I'm not really interested in it at all. Just trying to see anything else. No, that's just typical politics. I'm not going to speak on football because I don't understand it at all, albeit I know a couple of footballers personally. I don't understand the sport, so I'll keep out of that one as well. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else going on with boxing. All I can say is that please subscribe, put your notifications on. The usual ask from you guys, I want to say a massive thank you to those of you that put detailed comments. Listen, I'm grateful if you listen. I'm grateful for that as well. But when I sit down and I read the detailed comments, I enjoy reading them, because how much thought that goes into what you're saying to get your opinion across, I think it's amazing. And I won't always agree with your opinion, you won't always agree with mine, but the fact that we can have like a adult discussion sometimes in the comments, I'm extremely grateful for that as well. Obviously, credit to all the guests that I can get to come on. I really apologize as well. I was supposed to get Frank Smith on. It's probably been about 3 weeks, but that's flopped it now. So I'm just going to let that run, see when there's another Matchroom show, and I'll probably catch up with Team Matchroom there. August, we've got and it's a bit of a mad one actually. We've got MVP with the girls in Brum. Obviously, I'm a Brummie, so I should be there. But Moses is fighting Hrgović on the same date, and my heart is with that Moses and Philip fight. I just don't believe I can miss that. I feel bad because the girls are in Brum, And you know, but I'm drawn to London. I've applied for London. We'll see if I get through, because remember, accreditation is not a given. I can be as egotistical as I can and think that I'm always going to get through, and then sometimes, you know, sometimes you just don't. Obviously Eddie Hearn has mentioned, you know, Ben Whittaker, that's going to be a Birmingham show. Looking forward to that as well. So there is fights coming up later on in the year. I know there's a lot of stuff going on overseas, but obviously, you know, I don't tend to go to that. I know Queensbury's got a show over in Ireland. That might be a watch along, but we'll see how it goes. So the next show for me that I'm going to be attending is the August show for potentially Moses if I get through. I will try and cover some of the Birmingham events because it'll be rude not to. But for fight night, I really want to be there, because one of the things that I do like about Moses is he's very entertaining to watch live. Don't take my word for it. Buy a ticket and go and watch him live yourself. He's entertaining. He's not a boring fighter. He's an edge of your seat kind of fighter. So yeah, I really feel like I need to go and watch that fight. But we'll see what happens. You know, hopefully Lawrence Okoli will hear what's happening with him. You know, should he be coming back? As you know, I spoke to Joe Gallagher, went up to Manchester the other day, spoke to Fraser Clark, spoke to Billy Dennis, spoke to, I think, another fighter as well, Clark. I'm trying to remember his last name. He's got two names that are like surnames, but had a great time up there. Spoke to Natasha Jonas. Loving all of that content as well. I want to get into more gyms and do that type of content. My gift, I believe, is long form conversations. I'm not a 5-minute, if you want to call me an interviewer, that's not me. I'm a sit down and let's have a chat, let's catch up. What have you been doing? What's been happening? What are you intending to do? And what do you think about this? That is kind of my style. So I want to start going into gyms more and doing that kind of long form style conversation for the channel. I don't think there's anything else. Just housekeeping to you guys. Thank you for those that have continued to support the channel. Those of you that always come back. You might not even comment. I might not even know you exist. But if you're supporting the channel, I just want to let you know that I'm really, really grateful for that. Like I said, for those of you that share it, because I can see the statistics, people share my stuff. There are people like posting it out there, watch this, or whatever they're saying. It really does help. And I'm still trying to grow the channel. I'm not a complete article. I don't think I ever will be, to be honest. But your support is greatly appreciated. I think that's it from me. I'm going to leave it there. Listen, have a fantastic week. I have got another conversation to put out that I'm going to post later on this week or next week. I need to stagger the content because, as you know, the fights are few and far between this time of year, and it's going to heat up back. We've got the August, September, October where we'll all start to be busy once again. Listen, take care of yourselves, look after your mental health, look after your physical health, take care of yourself and the ones that you love. And as we say at October Red, stay ready.